Anytime. All right, getting back to Waterford.
Yeah.
Up in Elan.
Yeah, we're talking about the sauce.
Yeah, well, I kind of explained that to you. They would just dump everything in a garbage can and then throw it over a person's head. They would have a person stand up against the wall and just dump it on them. And then, no matter what, even a week later, they still smelt like that garbage. You know, and that was just. And the thing is that everyone would sit there and, you know, it was like, yeah, this person deserved it, you know, yeah. And we was all, and the reality was, everybody got a chance, you know, to get a GM, to go into the boxing ring with 5 or 6 different people, get beat senseless, get beat till you couldn't get beat no more. The staff would stand there and watch you.
Was there anything therapeutic about this at all?
The only thing therapeutic about it is that everybody got a chance at it.
Yeah.
We were all kids. We were all the same. Well, in Waterford, it was a little different. They were, like I said, they were a little older than me. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning there, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't that bad. But a lot of it didn't affect me because, you know, I was just a kid. I was there for a long haul. I wasn't going nowhere. I was there until I was 18 years old, and that's just the way it was going to be.
Wow. Did you have other black kids there? Like
any other blacks?
Yeah, any other minorities?
Now that you mention it, let me see. Yeah, there was Joe, and then there was George, and there was Myra, and then there was Denise, and there was, of course, me.
Yeah.
That's it. So as far as the black culture wise, nah, that was not happening. You know, you just you blended in because there was like maybe in Waterford there's probably about maybe 80 people, 90 people. I'm just gonna say around that because I mean I never.
Yeah, out of that many.
Yeah, I never really counted. You know, stood there and did a head count or anything like that. But the structure, that's the main thing, the structure that was there. It was kids. It was sort of like you would do in the military, sort of like you would do in the factory or whatever. You had different positions. The more responsible that another person felt you were or the staff felt you were, that's the higher up you went. That's the more responsibility you got.
Yeah.
At that time, you got to go to Chess King. You get to go buy some clothes. Everybody smoked cigarettes during that time. I was 12 years old, puffing away because that was just the thing to do.
Yeah.
I thought that was about the coolest thing there was.
Yeah.
But we got to go outside. There was like a basketball or a parking lot, whatever you want to call it, in between David Eldred's house and the barn. We'd go outside. We used to ride the bike in that little area there. But as far as education, which was a joke, because to this day, I can't really spell all that great.
Yeah.
You know,
they teaching you.
They ain't teaching me nothing as far as that's concerned. There was more like, over there, it was more, Waterford was a little bit different than Sebago because you wore signs. You wore costumes. To me, personally, the women caught hell. They beat the shit out of women.
Oh.
They went in the boxing ring all the time.
Oh, really?
They caught the brunt of a lot that I seen.
Did they have a lot of female staff?
No, they didn't.
These were men that were
no, they didn't.
using these girls.
Girls would fight girls, boys would fight boys. You know, but
the staff.
No, there was really not that much female staff. Even by the time I left, there still was. I mean, they had women in positions. Yes, they did. They did. But there wasn't an overwhelming number of them.
Yeah.
But a lot of staff, in the end, came through the ranks of the program. Mm-hmm. And but I don't know. It was just the way Elan was. And to me, I don't know what was it that I was supposed to take from there. But I guess I learned to judge people, how to deal with people, understand a person's character. I mean, I look at you and I can tell you what's on my mind, pretty much what's on your mind. And but like the signs. I think we was talking about that earlier. The
Sure.
different signs that was posted. You look at them all day. No free lunch. Better understand than to be understood. Then on the wall, in the morning, we have morning meetings. You have the big philosophy up there. You read the philosophy every single day. So it stayed in your head 30-some years later. I could almost recite it for word the way it was, the way it was done then.
So that became kind of like part of your values. That
Yeah.
it became part of your values today.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, the age I went in there, and this is where I started learning what was considered right and wrong. Because up until I went there, like I said, I was pretty much on my own. I've already was in 2 different reform schools, and they wasn't hitting on nothing. And I'm not saying that Elan was all of that, but it was strictly different. It was very stern. It was very rigid. It was more than, it was a little bit more than tough love. You got out of line. You did something wrong there. You didn't make your hospital corners. Your bed got tossed. It got flipped. You got in a fight. You went in a boxing ring. If you threatened somebody, you were getting an ass whipping.
Yeah.
Just hands down. There's no doubt about it. And but Waterford, yes, it was pretty much like that. We stayed upstairs. Upstairs, we had our GMs, our school, and that's where we slept at.
Yeah.
So it was kind of overcrowded there. And then came the big push. We went to Waterford. I'm sorry, to Parsonfield. That's when they brought Parsonfield. And when they brought Parsonfield, things changed. Once again, things started changing. Now they started bringing in people, more and more convicts, more and more criminals, more and more, and they started mixing people. You got your addicts. They were phasing them out by now. They were phasing the addicts out, and but they were bringing in more criminals, hardcore criminals, and then at the same time they were bringing in people that wasn't doing good in school, or their parents thought their kids could do better, and or the parents was told that if they sent their kids there, they could be more productive in society. And when they got them kids there, some of them right now are still traumatized.
Yeah,
I talked to some of them. It blows my mind because it's like they shouldn't have been where I was at.
Yeah, you're telling me you have friends who are deeply traumatized.
It's like I feel for them,
Yeah, what do you think is responsible for your survival? I mean, I know you as a caring person.
How I made it?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I kind of like moved on with my life. It's like I just blocked it out, or just had Facebook not come along, I don't think I would have ever been in touch with some of these people. And I'm glad I met some. I'm glad I've talked to some of them, because they're really interesting people. They come from all walks of life, but 99% of them, I don't know. They came years after I was there, and but I was there almost from the very beginning.
I guess they had similar experiences.
And we built Parsonfield. We opened it up. We painted it. We brought the beds in, the dressers in. We set up the dining hall, the beds, and and everything like that. And it was sort of like a jail, because you couldn't open up the windows or anything like that. It was big, long windows and stuff. And but I don't know. It was just like, I adapt to it. I made it through it.
Yeah, here you are today, and it's great how isn't it amazing how Facebook has touched us all? Well, the internet.
Yes.
And Facebook is the vehicle.
It brings that exactly. It brought people together that you didn't, you wouldn't have done otherwise. And I'm grateful for it. And at the same time, I look and I read, I'll be like, wow, man, some of the stuff that people are talking about, I kind of like feel for them. And, but there's nothing I could do to change it, I read about, or hear, this person's experienced this person experienced that. When we were there, when I was there, you didn't do that to nobody. We kill them.
Yeah.
We kill them. As
Yeah.
simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, you was not gonna do that to me. Put me in a doghouse. You was not gonna put me in a suit and all that stuff like that.
That came later.
Yeah, I mean,
policy came later.
the worst thing they did to someone other than the sauce and the box with, you wore a sign.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I had to wear a sign myself.
Oh,
I said, when I walked in the room, my sign said, "It's a bummer." Because I used to always complain. I sucked my teeth and stuff like that. So I walked in the room, "Excuse me, can I have your attention, please?" And everybody would stop and look. And I said, "It's a bummer, man. It's a bummer."
So
That's
that
what I
was
had to
your
do.
sign.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. You know what I mean? And I got over it.
Well, I think,
know.
yeah, that's great.
But my biggest problem, the biggest problem I had at Elan was, you know, I went in there when I was 12. By the time I got to Parson and everything, hey, I was a young man. I liked the women. I liked the girls.
Sure, yeah.
So I got in trouble for that, and that's a no. I
The
mean,
girls who are
you
the
know,
residents there.
yeah, man. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, you know, I dug them. They, I guess, dug me, and
Yeah, sure.
you know, you run off and do what you got to do. But yeah, I got slammed for that.
Yeah.
Mostly, that's what I got in trouble for.
That's great that y'all are all in touch. Your group on Facebook, and you can touch each other's lives, and
Yeah.
and they will touch others, and
Yeah, and the thing is that, you know, it's unique because although we were there at different times in our lives, I was there in the early '70s, almost in the beginning of Elan, when to me it was really cruel to people, and 20 years later, you know, there's another group. Quite naturally, to me, I felt like they benefit because they got internet, they got computers, they changed the name to Elan School, so they try to hide, disguise, or whatever you want to call it, what they were doing wrong. But at the same time, I see a lot of them on the internet. They got good jobs, got good educations and stuff like that. Got families, and you know, and moved on with their life. Yeah. But for some reason or another, they're still drawn back to it. Yeah. And I just wanted to share my view because it's like I really don't know most of them, and but I was there. I laid the groundwork. I'm behind people like me. They put up rules. They change rules. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, just pretty much how it was. And to this day, you know, I still think of somewhat of it, not as much, but you know, it's all right. You know, for my feeling.
Well,
and,
let's put this up there. It's closed now. We'll put this up there. See what kind of reaction we get.
Yeah. Then we get to the final.
fellows.
Yeah. Then we get to the final years when I was on my way out of there.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Peter.